so done.
This is awesome. This is this, this is that, this is this. Hey, everybody, have a great time.
I'm not one of these f***ing goof podcasters out there. I am Don Tony, Wednesday night, Don-O-Mite. Stard, I challenge you to the bra and panties match at the Summerfest. Gotta give a little bit of support for Dre. I gotta be honest with you, I had a late dinner tonight, very stuffed, very tired, and very happy to be here. What's up, everyone? What is this, episode 44 of Wednesday Night Dynamite? I am Don Tony, as always, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Eric Stankoff, what's going on, my friend? Yes, I noticed you. And I notice everybody out there. I want to thank you all for your support, as always. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And we are back with another prize today. I think this one will be approved by the AEW fans out there. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I told everyone that we were going to give a prize out this week in a little bit of support and tribute to Ivelisse. The thing is that she had the one match and done last week against Diamante. Didn't show all that much, so I think once she starts getting a little momentum on television, then we'll give that away, but I'll let you know later what it was. Yeah, Daniel said, well, you know what? You could sit out if you want. Today's contest is going to be very easy to enter, and I will post the winner of last week, the Jericho Lucha Brothers signed picture. Again, shout out to the winner. And a lot of people, I should have clarified this last week. It wasn't just a simple 8x10 photo. This was like a gigantic photo. I don't have it here because I already shipped it out, but we'll share that later on. I'll tell you, Dynamite NXT just went off the air. Not looking at notes yet. I can't see without my reading glasses. So I just want to say a couple of quick things since both shows went off the air. We'll get into wrestling news. We'll talk about cancer culture, finding a new prey to feast on, and that is Excalibur. I got a lot to say about that. Impact Wrestling, Wrestle House, got to talk about that. Got to pay tributes to two women in pro wrestling that passed away the last couple of days in their 50s. And 90% of the websites and podcasts out there won't even make mention. In fact, I saw a bunch of people today only making mention because TMZ brought it up, even though the woman died 3-4 days ago. But we'll talk about that later. I'll tell you this much. Dexter Lumis advancing to the North American ladder match. I like it. I've been saying for a while now, Dexter Lumis is my favorite in NXT. For a while, it was Keith Lee. Karrion Kross, obviously, there's many reasons why I like him as well. But they've only just begun with Karrion Kross. So, take your time. You plant the seeds. Remember the carrot analogy? You plant the seeds. Let it grow a little bit. So I got to stick with my favorite for the last 3-4 months, Dexter Lumis. I love it. But him making Timothy Thatcher, almost unconscious, but seeing Timothy Thatcher in that environment, losing the way he did, I don't know, man. Look, you don't get damaged after one match, even though, since we brought up Diamante, look, she's been in the business for 10 years. A lot of butterflies tonight, live TV. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't click. And her match with Hikaru Shida tonight was not very good, to be honest with you. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But, I really love the fact that they're giving Dexter Lumis, this little bit of a push right now. Now, it is secondary. This is for the North American Championship, not the NXT title, heavyweight title. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. In fact, I'm going to shock some people take, oh, and by the way, speaking of the term shock the system. Anyone feel like we're getting an undisputed face turn in NXT? Does it feel like the Undisputed Era now are coming off as more baby faces? If you thought what I said Friday was wrong, that the Pat McAfee, Adam Cole incident was bullshit, I think tonight on NXT kind of cemented what I said last Friday. Never bet against yours truly. You know, I know we don't do Raw or SmackDown on this show, but you remember it was a week ago when Kairi Sane pinned Bayley. And everybody else, oh, maybe she's not leaving. She pinned the champion. She's not leaving. What's going on? What do you think? And I said on my Monday show not this past Monday, the Monday before, the fact that they didn't mention Bayley's championship in the future since Kairi pinned the champion, I thought that was her final match in WWE. I thought that was her swan song. I thought she was going to get brutally attacked the following week. The only thing is I would have preferred it to be Shayna Baszler, not Bayley. Nothing against Bayley, but, you know, I mean, I don't know. So, never bet against yours truly. And speaking of betting against yours truly, and yeah, maybe this is a little bit towards the haters, but come on, man, you have to give me this one. Not last week. This was the week before. The week before Dijakovic and Keith Lee had their match. I said, wouldn't it be like an interesting Rocky IV vibe? You know, if Dijakovic, I'm not Dijakovic, Keith Lee, Dijakovic and Karrion Kross, they do something like Rocky IV. You know, if he dies, he dies. And Dijakovic could be Apollo Creed. Karrion Kross could be Ivan Drago. And Keith Lee is Rocky Balboa. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Apollo, Rocky Balboa. I wrote that online, and then a whole bunch of you PM'd me. A lot of people like to PM me privately because they don't want to annoy other podcasters out there by seeing that you're showing big-time support for yours truly. But yeah, WWE also did the Rocky IV vibe after the match was over. I love it, man. I love it when things are in sync. I'm not bitching as a wrestling fan right now. I don't think any of you should be bitching as a wrestling fan right now. My God, there are so many things that you can do in this world. You could whack off all day long. You could get a job sitting in your home. My God, there are jobs now that never were home jobs that you could now work from your home. You could binge watch, whatever you want to see on TV. Yeah, I mean, you could play games. You could watch hockey, baseball, basketball, retro. I don't get it. I don't get these morons. It's not August 1st yet, so we can't call them goofs because this was Goof-Free Month. But I don't get it. You know, people, oh, well, I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, so I rip it, but I still, I'm a lifelong baseball fan. I'm a lifelong music fan. I'm a lifelong hockey fan. I'm a lifelong basketball fan. I'm a lifelong fan of a whole bunch of shit. And if it's not entertaining me right now, well, guess fucking what? I don't watch it. These people do this because without pro wrestling, they have no social media footprint. You see it. People will tweet about a musician. People will tweet about a baseball player. People will tweet about a football player. People will tweet about a politician. People will tweet about food. And they get maybe 1/20th the views from others. They love pro wrestling so much. They are obsessed with it. And by going against the grain and thinking they could do better, that's the attraction. I'm happy as a wrestling fan right now. And I think all of you out there should enjoy it as well. Is it good as it was 5 years ago? Absolutely not. When are the other podcasters and the other websites going to start comparing Wednesday Night Wrestling not to Nitro versus WWE, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, and this and that? Do you remember what I said months ago? And if you actually pay attention, it is mirroring what I said months ago at this very moment. This doesn't feel like 1998, 2000, 99, Nitro, Attitude Era. No. What's happening with AEW and NXT right now is 1995. Remember what I said about 1995 with Nitro versus Raw. They would trade ratings wins. WCW would get more wins because it was the new kid on the block. And something else that AEW does more than NXT. And you got it tonight. It may have hurt in some ways. In some ways, it probably helped them. The live factor. 1995. Nitro was live. Raw was taped. Now, all you need is some stooge in NXT to start calling AEW, and let's see if we could tempt Tony Schiavone to give NXT spoilers live on AEW Dynamite. This is 1995, and let me also bring one other point into this factor. Ratings. 1995 wrestling ratings were nowhere near as good as what they were in 98, 99, 2000, and then ultimately 2001 when Nitro and WCW closed down. This is so reminiscent to 1995. It's not even funny. And this is what I was going to say before, and then we'll get into all the stuff. Matt Cardona. Woo, woo, woo. Well, I say boo, hoo, hoo. Boo, hoo, hoo. He's got me blocked for years and years and years. Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder, makes his AEW debut today. I don't know if he's under contract. Everybody's immediately jumped the gun. Oh, AEW signing more castles. No, I'm not going to lie. Signing Ariane, Cameron, I'm baffled. I mean, unless she's been in some underground dojo somewhere and learning how to wrestle, and she's going to bring things out that we never saw before. Honestly, you could break my legs and you could break my arms, and I'd probably wrestle better than Cameron. But you know what? The reason why I don't rip that all that much is because Cameron has not been on television for years and years and years. I mean, what is it? What is it, websites? What is it, bloggers? What is it, social mediaites? What is it, podcasters? That you get released from WWE even if it's 5-7 years ago and you can never work for another company again? Yes. The last time I saw Cameron, she was the drizzling shits. Then I started thinking about it tonight. I'm like, what? She can never fucking work for a promotion again? I love all these people who are ripping AEW for signing former WWE guys, but don't say a goddamn word about Impact Wrestling. Why don't they say a goddamn word? 2 reasons. Number one, they'll get no attention on social media. Oh, what's that? Impact? They're still around? Well, yeah, I'm a fucking wrestling fan. I don't watch the only wrestling that gets over 1 million viewers or gets me 30 likes on social media. I thought Impact Wrestling this week had a very solid show. And when you look at the matches that aired, you know, it wasn't all that spectacular, to be honest. The Wrestle House? No, not Cameron Grimes. Johnny Z. Are you kidding me, Johnny Z? You're going to embarrass yourself like that? Who is Cameron? Funk is on a roll. Naomi's partner, the Funkadactyls. What are you smoking? Unless maybe you just became a wrestling fan 2-3 years ago. Come on, man. You should be a little bit more, educated with my shows, I know on Monday we only talk WWE from now on for, 99% of the time, but come on, yes, Johnny, the black girl, the other black girl, the Marty Jannetty of the Funkadactyls. Is that what you want to call her? And even Tommy Dreamer. I got loads of media to share tonight. Tommy Dreamer. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I saw this Wrestle House thing, I immediately got 2 vibes from it. I got the vibe of, okay, is this a ripoff of Legends House? And then I also started thinking about Carneyland. NWA, they tried to do the Carneyland thing, and now it's, let's be honest, it's starting to fall flat. It was nice, on paper, but I don't think the execution is anywhere near what we thought it was going to be. But you look at this Wrestle House, Taya Valkyrie, Alicia Edwards, Johnny Swinger, Crazy Steve, Rosemary. I'm reading from a list because I don't want to leave anybody out. Susie, who is Sue Young, Cody Deaner, Cousin Jake, Kylie Ray, AC Romero, Larry D, and Johnny Bravo. All right? It's not a stacked, legends cast, but it's got a lot of comedic elements to it. And when Taya Valkyrie tries to run out the house, she opens the door and she sees fire and Abyss, old Abyss footage. Abyss now works for WWE. I thought it was funny. I thought it was lighthearted. There's so much miserable shit going on in this world right now. I mean, I'm fine with a little bit of humor. I don't know why people are complaining so much about wrestling. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Nobody's got a gun to your head. You ain't getting sex from anybody because you're a wrestling fan. You're not making money from it because you're a wrestling fan. So why do you do it? Are you that lonely? Seriously. And by the way, I should have done this little disclaimer. Monday had some internet gremlins going on. I don't know if it's because we're in 90-plus degree heat for like the last week or so here in New York. But Monday, my internet kept going out. Around midnight, I got an alert from Spectrum that they were doing maintenance. Well, during both AEW and NXT tonight, my internet went out 5 times. Now, it's been steady for the last hour, but there is a possibility that it may get cut off. If it does get cut off, especially on YouTube, just have no fear because apparently it just picks up where I left off, so you lose no footage. But I'm monitoring my internet very, very closely tonight. So far, we have no issues, but I have to put that little bit of a disclaimer up here as far as, just a little bit of warning. But getting back to Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, all right? If you didn't see Dynamite today, Cody has his match against Warhorse. Warhorse is an indie guy. He's been really building his social media footprint and brand for a while. He's got a nice following, not a bad wrestler. I know some of you out there are going to complain that Cody versus Warhorse went way too long, but I think you're starting to understand the formula with Cody matches against people either outside of AEW or people that AEW is interested in. Have a somewhat competitive match. Cody doesn't take the opponent very seriously. Then Cody gets serious and then gets the win. That's pretty much the formula. It was the formula with Ricky Starks. It's the formula with Warhorse. And I like the idea of the TNT Championship having people come in for a shot or two to try to get it. I mean, people forget when TNA first came around in 2002. They used to have wrestlers that we would see on TV for maybe a couple of weeks at most, and then they would disappear. They would get, a couple of, appearance deal, and then that's it. Yeah, Danielson, Eddie Kingston's a perfect example. I hope you were listening to what I said on this show last week. When people were talking about hashtags, give Eddie a contract, give him this, give him that, I said, these people with half a brain. Instead, this is what I mean as far as trying to just get attention on social media. Instead of writing hashtag give Eddie a blowjob or whatever you wanted to give Eddie, and I was extremely ecstatic, Eddie Kingston. Remember 2 weeks ago, most of you and yours truly wanted to see Eddie Kingston versus Cody the following week, and we got what we wanted. But all of those people out there looking for the emotional retweet and the emotional like, their first step should have been finding out if Eddie Kingston is still under contract with NWA. And 99% of people are, I didn't think of that. We don't even know if Matt Cardona, we don't even know if he's under contract with AEW. Maybe they gave him 2-3 appearances. Maybe tonight was to set up Cody versus Matt Cardona for the TNT title 2 weeks from now. Because if you didn't figure it out tonight, 2 weeks from now is going to be the next big AEW versus NXT. Mark it on your calendar. I don't know if you're starting to feel that vibe, but I feel the vibe already, and expect next week, WWE to make some pretty big announcements for August 12th, Wednesday, because AEW's already started doing that. NXT is going to follow suit. So when we look back and you see, Great American Bash on Wednesday, Fight for the Fallen, this and that, August 12th is the next big AEW versus NXT mega matches, advertised loads in advance. You watch August 12th. Remember that. August 12th is going to be a big day for Wednesday Night Wrestling. And, Monday night, they caught up to them. We talked about it. We prepared everybody else. I think everybody saw it coming. Hour 3 for Monday Night Raw, less viewers than Wednesday Night Wrestling. So when you see all these morons out there talking about demos and arguing this and arguing that and arguing this for Wednesday night, but they don't say a goddamn word about Monday night, how come they don't talk about demos on Monday? Now you have hour 3 of Raw, less viewers than Wednesday Night Wrestling, and they don't say a word for it. But the advertisers are different on Mondays. Oh, no. Wednesday is TNT and WWE is USA, but that's NXT. It's not Raw. You think advertisers, you think the formula and the business dealings are different because it's Wednesday or it's Monday? Business is business. That's why you don't ever take advice from podcasters and websites and bloggers that have no business background, that the only business that you know is what? What do you know? I mean, most of these people are unemployed. Most of these people don't have any real jobs, and you're going to take advertising advice, demo advice from people online? We ain't that stupid. We're not that stupid. Yes, Mortalica, Raw. Wednesday night's my favorite night of wrestling. Not even close. But Impact Wrestling this week, I thought they did a pretty damn good job. They're doing so good that now suddenly ratings are starting to come out. I touched on this Monday for a little bit, but you remember last year when I started telling you about the ratings, and I said it was under 100,000, but I didn't want to put the number out there because I didn't want to be wrong. And at the same time, I didn't want to be wrong. But it was at points under 100,000. Last week, they did 160,000. I heard this week it was more close to 200,000. Now, yeah, that's a far cry of what Impact Wrestling did even 3 to 5 years ago. But Impact Wrestling is starting to go on the uptick. The contracts are not very, complicated. Some wrestlers are going to be allowed to work other places. Now, Daniel-san, did Naomi tweet that, or are you writing that? Because I don't want to say and then be wrong. I'm just curious. But, the thing is that, getting back to what I said about contracts and Impact Wrestling and even AEW, some people's contracts are not that, difficult. It's not complicated. Some wrestlers have more strict contracts than others. Some wrestlers are going to be able to work other promotions. You see it in Impact. I don't want to mention any names. You see some wrestlers already advertised for GCW, advertised here, advertised there. As long as it doesn't conflict with Impact Wrestling, they can work other places. Impact is the number one choice. With AEW, it's more of a case where this person works here. They can really only work maybe 1 or 2, 3 places, and it definitely cannot conflict with AEW television. You get to MLW, some of the contracts, some wrestlers want that exclusive deal, only want to be involved with one company. But again, with Matt Cardona, you don't know. You don't know if he's signed to a deal until you see the banner from AEW social media account. Matt Cardona is all elite. You know that banner I'm talking about. Until you see AEW put that banner out there, this might be next week. He's teaming up with Cody after the beatdown tonight by the Dark Order. Matthew Rychecki, man. Did you just treat me to talk Shop-A-Mania? Because if you thought that there was a chance that yours truly was not going to be talking about this, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. Everyone out there, I might as well bring this up now, and then we'll start segueing into news and everything. We've gone about, 25 minutes already? And we're definitely staying under 2 hours today, so we want to really keep this ball moving quickly. But a lot of you probably don't even know this is happening. This Saturday, between 9 and 11 p.m., Fight TV is doing this broadcast, a pay-per-view, called Talk Shop-A-Mania. Gallows and Anderson, obviously, I don't know. I could probably zoom in on the names. Let me see if I could zoom in on the names. Let's go. I know it's a little primitive what I'm doing here, but at least you could see it. You got Doc Gallows, you got Gallows and Anderson, Chico El Luchador, Enzo, Heath Slater, Brian Myers, Chavo Guerrero, Alex Kozlov, Rocky Romero. The list goes on and on. A lot of Impact guys. Just think of Southpaw Championship Wrestling. This is going to be comedy. This is going to be skits. This is going to be lots of humor. It is going to be 2 hours of nonsense. But it's going to be adult language. There's going to be a lot of adult humor. It's going to offend some people. And not only is yours truly going to be watching this, but I was thinking, on Discord, every Saturday night now is game night, and every single one of you are invited. Just go to my Twitter, @DonTonyD, and you'll see a link there for the Discord channel. Sign up. Every Saturday night, between 9 and 10 p.m. is when we start. Last week, we played for 4 hours. We do, if you know what Jackbox stuff is, we do Jackbox trivia games. Me, Mish, some of you may know John Krauser and Yuck Nasty and others. We all game. So every single one of you is invited to the Discord channel. Every single one of you is invited to play. And the best thing about it is you don't have to have any software. All you need to do is be logged into our Discord and have your browser opened. And if you don't know what that is, you shouldn't be on the internet in 2020. But I have all the software. I run it from my computer. I have the server. And we have a ball. And I was thinking, a lot of people stream these gaming things on social media. So I talked to the guys about streaming this Saturday's game night on YouTube. I don't know if we'll do it live, probably live, but I was also thinking maybe we turn it into a watch-along of, Talk Shop-A-Mania. So this weekend, you might get the first ever watch-along with yours truly, and it's going to be watch-along and gaming, because we can't put the footage of Talk Shop-A-Mania on YouTube. So we do the watch along, and you also see us gaming and making fun of each other and putting down other people and putting down ourselves. I'm telling you, man, go check it out. Absolutely check it out. I'm telling you, you will have a ball. I invite everybody checking this out to go show up. And, another thing also is you don't have to speak. Some people are, and I'm not even saying this to be funny, some people are very shy. You can play and have no microphone. We had some people playing last week. You could sit in the audience and play as an audience member. We don't even need to even know who's in the audience. Last week, the audience won a couple of times. So, Matt, thank you very much for that. And, I am definitely checking out Talk Shop-A-Mania. And here's the best part about it. When I said, did Matt just treat me for Talk Shop-A-Mania? It's only $14.99. $14.99. You can't go wrong with that. I'm telling you, man. Telling you. Go check it out. I think you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun. So, Rathman, thank you. And you know what? Jason Solomonster, I say this 1,000 times. When I hung out with him last March for WrestleMania weekend, we were actually chuckling at each other because for years people insisted that we hated each other. And I know where that started from, and I'm not going to bring it up tonight. But we met in person are like, why do we hate each other? The guy has got a heart of gold. I mean, the guy, honestly, there's a lot of people that do these shows with the idea of maybe landing a job in WWE or AEW down the line. People have asked me for years, would I ever work for one of these companies? If I could work around my schedule, yeah, I would do it. But in all reality, you know, my life is cut out for me. You know, I got my office, I got my fiance that I hope to get married to next year. We're engaged, and that's it. I enjoy myself till I drop. But of all, and I don't want to upset any other shows out there, but of all the podcasters out there, Jason Solomonster, by far, and again, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but Jason Solomonster, by far, he didn't super chat me any money. I'm saying this from the heart. That's a guy. If you remember Goodfellas, you remember when they thought that Joe Pesci was made and Robert De Niro's in the phone booth? Nah, we ran into a problem. And then Robert, because they whacked him. If you picture that scene and have an alternate ending where Joe Pesci really is made and Ray Liotta and Robert De Niro are celebrating, that's how I would feel if Jason Solomonster ever lands a job for AEW or WWE. Seriously, he is one of the good guys out there. No competition between, you know, what I do and what he does. You know, I know sometimes you out there have to make a choice as far as who you want to tune in live. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to get anybody to stop tuning in others. I stopped that shit 15 years ago. So, but anyway, Boomer, I am not a fan of Bill de Blasio at all. Cuomo, I really don't like that much either. But I just try to stay out of politics now. Who would ever thunk a year ago, people like, please, no more talk about Donald Trump. Please, no more talk about that. I'm not a big fan of Trump anymore. I stay away from politics. I just try to do what makes me happy. I just do what makes me happy. I'm too old now to be sitting and complaining about everything going on in the world. I just want to have fun. You know, Don just want to have fun. Anyway, can I pay a little tribute to two people? And I promise you only be 2-3 minutes. Not going to spend a lot of time on it. We had two deaths to report in the world of pro wrestling. I know a lot of you out there would not know much of either one of these two, but I promise you, when I show you who they are, you're either going to say, oh yeah, not Otis, but you're going to say, oh yeah, okay, I remember, because one of these women is featured on the WWE Network because of old WCW and NWA events, and one, my God, everybody raved about Glow on Netflix, that documentary thing that they were doing. Well, one of the pioneers, one of the women from Glow, and even if you weren't a wrestling fan in the 80s, I'm going to play a little video clip. I got the approval that I could air it, but I wanted to just share and pay tribute to two people who passed away. First person I want to show is Kat LaRoux, okay? You probably never saw her wrestle, or you may have just seen her in passing. She actually wrestled for NWA, WCW. She debuted in 1985, wrestled for about 10 years. If any of you saw the AWA Wrestle Rock 86, that I know a lot of you have tuned in, she was in that Battle Royal. She was also one half of the Nasty Girls. I don't know, let's put it like here. She was one half of the Nasty Girls. That's her on the left. And the Nasty Girls was a tag team in the 80s that actually was not a household name, but actually did pretty damn good for themselves. They were featured in numerous wrestling magazines. So unfortunately, she passed away earlier this week. I got her age, I believe, at 54. That might be off by a year or two, but if you saw Dark Side of the Ring, and they did the Mueller one, and by the way, last week I binge watched with my fiance every Dark Side of the Ring episode. You know, early this year I was like, nah, I don't like them all that much. I'll watch a little here. I watched every single episode. And I'm sorry for doing this, but I'm such an idiot. Stunats. Why did I not watch this and cover it when it aired? They're not bad. They were not bad. I actually enjoyed it more than I anticipated. You know, some of it you could see was, you know, they were, I don't know, they were just a little bit over the top with their stuff. But I freaking enjoyed it, man. But the Moolah one, when you talk about Moolah and 85 and Wendy Richter and all that other stuff, Kat LaRoux came through Killer Kowalski school. Everybody knows who Killer Kowalski, God rest his soul, brought into wrestling. Probably the number one to all of you, Triple H. But she came through Killer Kowalski school, not through Moolah. And she was, you know, pretty decent tag team. Wrathman, confidence, man? I have no confidence. I mean, I do have confidence, but if you're authentic and you just be yourself, if people like it, then that's cool. You know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's why, like I say, I don't, you know, it's amazing. I still get people that like, what are you going to video for? Why don't you do audio? You know, it's such a different element doing video. I don't have a lot of confidence. I'm not going to lie. I'm not happy. You see the background. I keep changing shit in the back. You see all the things. I'm not happy. You know, I already told my fiance I want one of these glass cameras for Christmas. Get rid of the little webcam thing. I want to try to take this to the next level. Just be yourself, man. Be yourself. I know a lot of you don't like AEW. And I know a lot of you don't like Brandy Rhodes either. And I know a lot of you out there might think that they cater to, you know, more of the SJWs and stuff like that. I understand why people say that. But if there's any way to show you, go back and look at that Zoom clip of the AEW heels. When they had all those women on Zoom, just talking wrestling. I wasn't invited, obviously. You know, I'm not a female, but I watched that back. I saw every shape and size imaginable in this world. I seen every color, every, you know, sexual orientation, sexual preference. You saw all different shapes, sizes, looks, and not one person there was self-conscious about themselves. Do I look nice? Am I too fat? Am I this? Am I getting enough? Everybody just relaxed. They let their guard down and just had fun. And that's what I have done. Doing the video was me bringing my guard down. And every single one of you out there, you should never, ever feel intimidated to show yourself with a photo, video. If you want to do a podcast, what's the worst thing you could do? What's the worst thing that can happen? You don't get people to tune in, or it doesn't connect. You know, you just might, you know, be a victim of, you know, the numbers. I went on Amazon yesterday, and I was looking at, you know, Sony cameras and Fuji's and like the real professional cameras to do for this video. You know, starting January, things explode. And I went on and I just checked the Logitech Brio is what I use right now. And the price went up $130. And I looked at all the vendors, and every vendor was $130 more across the board. And I'm like, did they come out with a new version? Do I have the old version? Do I do the switch, buy it from Amazon now and just return this one and say it didn't work? Then I realized, because so many people are home with COVID, and because people are working from their houses, and because people are on Zoom, all these fucking vendors are all, you know, jacking up the prices. And webcams are $100 to $150 more now than what they were before. And everybody and their mother is on video. So you get lost in the shuffle. You know, I mean, I did this now for 6 months on video, and I'm still learning about algorithms. You know, now I got people helping me, and now I'm starting to understand, you know, with keywords. You know, if anybody out there that does like their own YouTube, and we'll move on in 30 seconds, I promise. Anybody out there that does their own YouTube, you know, when you put the keywords for what the video's about, for the first 5.5 months, I only started this 2 weeks ago. For the first 5.5 months, I kept the same keywords on every video. All Elite Wrestling, NWA, Impact Wrestling, and I, Stu Knotts, didn't realize that you have to, per episode, type in search words and phrases So when people go on YouTube and say, oh, I want to see Excalibur from AEW and the N-word, like you have to actually put those keywords in the background so when they search it, your video pops up. Look at me. I'm doing this 23 years and I didn't even realize that. So I'm telling you, everyone, just be yourself. Be yourself. There's no competition game in the looks and the charisma. If you are having fun at what you do, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Seriously. I know my social media footprint has become so boring because they stay out of so many negative comments, but I'm happier. I'm happier, and I think you should all be happy as well. So now I want to pay tribute to one more person. I got 2 video clips that I'm going to share with you. Now, again, a lot of you out there may have never seen her before, and yes, I have said many times over the years that I'm a guy that's into brunettes. I'm not into blondes. Although, yes, I agree with what some of you said to me tonight. Scarlett Bordeaux looked beautiful in the gown tonight with the thing with Keith Lee. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I just wanted to pay a little tribute to this woman. And yeah, the quality is kind of shungada. And you really can't see her all that well over here. But you'll remember her when you see this photo. Anybody remember from the original Glow, Babe and Sally, the farmer's daughters? Sally, the farmer's daughter? That is her on the right. And I know some of you out there right now are like, oh yeah, okay, I know who she is. All right. She was a big part of Glow. She was also in music videos. She was in some horrendous caca movies from the early 90s. You know, she tried and she passed away. And, you know, look, I was a fan of Glow when Glow first came out. And I have a little clip for any of you out there that may have only followed Glow on Netflix, but it's so bad. This gives you, she is the quintessential example of what Glow was like in the 80s when we were coming up. But this was her intro from Glow. Like, I got to share this with everybody.
From Hog Hollow, Nebraska, Sally the farmer's daughter.
My name is Sally. I'm farm's daughter. I took the rest like dirty water. I milk a cow. I fed the kids. I'm gonna be buying a meal again. Come out here to have some fun and get my hand raised. When
Second
I'm done.
verse
So when
is
the rain
better.
don't see me smile, 'cause I'm gonna beat 'em country style.
You would never be able to do half the stuff they did before. She kind of looks like Britt Baker, the terrorist, right?
Palestina fans, the terrorists.
The terrorist! You'd never be able to do that in 2020. The terrorist! Everyone, it's the terrorist! She looks like Britt Baker, right? By the way, Britt Baker tonight, oh, Big Swall can face me if she beats person of my choosing. Reba, you think it's going to be Reba? But even if you were not a wrestling fan or even alive in the 80s, I think most of you out there will always remember Sally the farmer's daughter. And, you know, that's why if you look at the preview tonight for tonight's show over here, you know, I paid a little tribute to her. Becky Mullen, that's her real name. You remember her from this. Now that's Pamela Anderson, by the way. Just wait for it. Married with Children.
As in all night long?
As an L I want.
Who remembers this?
Al, you
Here she
shall
comes.
have.
This is Sally coming in the room now.
Honey, I'm home. Al Hercules Bundy. Who is this person?
Who's this, Alzy?
Well,
Just think. That's Sally the farmer's daughter and Pamela Anderson.
Well, obviously, I'm having a hell of a dream. Rather than take time and explain it all, why don't you two just fight over me right here on the bed while I watch and take pictures?
It's almost done, everybody.
And the winner
But I know some of you
Gets to have
that
me
love
first.
Married with Children remember this iconic
and third and fifth. You may begin. Girls, there's not enough hair whipping around.
How many of you remember this clip? Yeah, Kelly kept interrupting his dreams. The bell.
This is really no fun unless you join us.
Yes, please join us.
Well,
Here it comes.
okay.
I still binge watch it.
Daddy.
Yeah, you know what's even sadder about that? You know, she had colon cancer, I think liver cancer, her kidneys were failing, and in 2 days, she would have, I think, would have been 57 years old. 2 days before her birthday, she died. So I just wanted to pay a little tribute for those two because honestly, you know what you're going to get. You might get lucky some websites. Oh, we send our sincere condolences to the friends and family of blah, 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 blah. You know, she actually, gorgeous ladies of wrestling, I mean, she was a hottie, man. And that's an iconic scene from Married with Children. Pamela Anderson and Becky Mullen. It's like, you know, the Becky Lynch of wrestling. Like, everybody, like, flocked to her. And everybody else... And people don't even realize that some of those deaths that I mentioned this year, multiple, were suicides. You would think that Hana Kimura was the only one that killed herself this year. So anyway, so I just wanted to pay tribute to them. So rest in peace to both of them. Also, we got to give some well wishes to Kris Statlander. She went in yesterday for knee surgery, successful. She obviously will be out for a very, very long time, but she is in recovery. The surgery, it was a success early on, and we wish her the best. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. If you want to go check out a pretty cool interview, Vickie Guerrero did an interview last week, and she was talking about how she wants to reinvent herself in AEW. She doesn't want to be, you know, so much the Vickie as she was in WWE. And I get why you want to reinvent yourself. It's a challenge. You want to be multi-dimensional. I'm not comparing myself to Vickie, but doing video is completely different than doing audio, you know. But she wants to reinvent. In my personal opinion, I don't think Vickie Guerrero needs to change much. She had so much heat in WWE. And I'm not going to lie, when she first was doing what she was doing, I hated it, did not want to see her on my TV. After a while, it caught on. Then when they were doing the things with Edge and then Dolph Ziggler and some of the other things, you know, I actually got a kick out of her character. And talk about someone who was never a wrestler or never a personality in wrestling. She was the widow of Eddie Guerrero. And look at what she turned into. I don't think Vickie needs to change all that much from what she was doing in WWE. And you know what? I'm taken. And Vickie Guerrero, you know, I'm not physically attracted to her, but you could tell the smile that she has is genuine. And anyway, she's taken anyway. So very, very happy for her. Jonathan Flores, I don't know if you can sue if she just says, excuse me. And I know what some of you are going to say, well, you know, that was a phrase in wrestling. Excuse me is a phrase that we all say. And unfortunately, there are some things that WWE cannot trademark. In fact, I know that they had some difficulty trying to trademark things like the Man and others. You know, I understand Ric Flair had some trademarks as well within wrestling, but there's certain words that you cannot trademark. You cannot trademark certain things. So I'm sure, you know, there might be some challenges if it goes on merchandise. I don't know. I don't work in the legal field, and I'm not going to pretend to work in the legal field. But, you know, it's a really cool interview if you want to go check it out. So now, I know a lot of you here are here for the recaps tonight, AEW and NXT. We also got you know, before we go any further, I should let you know what we're doing tonight as far as prizes. Now, I do also need to bring this out. Okay, that's a little too small. Remember this? I gave away, it was supposed to be one, but I gave away two weeks ago. I have yet to have either winner contact me. So this is your last chance. You either email me, dontony@dontony.com, or you PM me on Twitter with your shipping address. And for everybody out there who's going to claim to be the winner, I have their YouTube links. I followed them on YouTube. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, why don't you just send them a message? No, it doesn't work that way in a lot of YouTube accounts. You can't just message people. So this is still up for grabs. Now, you know what? I'm going to show you this too. All right? I don't know why I keep showing the small one, but see this photo? This leads to Ivelisse. All right? Now, you see that double autograph of Karrion Kross and Scar? By the way, I have two more. So we'll give away more in the very near future. Where that comes from is here. Back on June 22nd, 2019 in California, and Beckett was involved with this. Beckett Authenticated is very, very important. They were touting an autograph signing with Ivelisse, Killer Kross, and Scarlett Bordeaux, Karrion Kross. And I plugged this last year. And those autographs are from that signing. But that day, Ivelisse was wearing this. She was wearing that hat, and I have that actual hat in my possession, autographed. It's autographed on both sides. I don't have the flip side. I didn't take a picture of it yet. But that is going to be the prize that I'm going to be giving out in the very near future. So that is Ivelisse. That is what I have on the burner for everyone out there. But I wanted you to see where I originally got it from, so you know that it was, everything was legit. I have pictures of her signing it. So, anything that I give away is always 100% legit here. Now, if you don't mind me for a minute, I'd like to just share with you who won last week's contest, which was this, the triple, well, you can see it better like this. That was the triple sign photo of the Lucha Brothers and Chris Jericho wearing the AEW colors. And I randomly selected a winner. I ran it through a program, and I screenshot. I captured the video live so everybody could see that it was 100% honest. If you remember last week, you had to use the hashtag /WND for Wednesday Night Dynamite, and I picked someone at random. And in case you did not see this Monday, this was the winner of the triple sign 16x20 photo of Jericho and the Lucha Brothers. It runs a program called Guess the Winner, and it randomly selects someone that used the hashtag WND. Guess the winner. Just type in, and it just randomly selects someone. Yep, Rick Stone got it. Yep, so Rick Stone, he won the Jericho Lucha Brothers signed photo. Yeah, I know. I know the music was corny, but I have to use certain music, or I don't want to get copyright flags here. So you want to know what this week's prize is? Now, I'm sorry if this gets anybody mad, but I have decided we got to do the prizes every 2 weeks. Reason being is because, one, I don't want to do cheap shit here. I want every prize to be a really cool prize. Not only that, I don't want anybody to feel pressured that they have to tune into the show within a certain number of days. And I had people last Monday and Tuesday complaining that they didn't see the show until after the weekend because they work and this and that. So I want to leave these contests up for 2 weeks at a time. But even though I'm doing a contest every other week, the prizes will be bigger. And I promise you all, once we get out of COVID, I will give this out on this show. This is 100%. It's not the real AEW title. It's not the one that Jericho dropped on the street. It's a replica belt, but this shit is heavy. This is like 13 pounds. So as soon as we get over COVID and AEW does their first big live event, we'll do a contest right here on YouTube and give that son of a bitch away. So anyway, what are we giving out today and how are we doing it? Well, I decided let's keep it simple this time. You don't have to put a hashtag WND because, believe it or not, and I know some of you are going to laugh at this, some people actually forgot to put hashtag WND. Some people are like, did I do this right? And I looked and I'm like, no, you didn't put hashtag WND, and they had to do it over. So rather than make it where you have to put a hashtag, all you have to do is in the comment section for this episode, just comment about something that was discussed on this show. Anything you want, just comment on something, and we'll pick somebody at random 2 weeks from today. What I'll do is Wednesday, 2 weeks from today, August 12th, which is going to be the next big WWE AEW event, 2 weeks from today. During the day, I will pick the winner at random, and I will stream the video live on Wednesday Night Dynamite, and you can see who win. Well, Roberto, if you put hashtag you suck, if it picks it random, then I guess maybe you do get the prize. But the prize we're giving away this time around is this. It's a dual-signed Funko Pop of the Young Bucks. Outside the box, it looks like this. That's what it looks. Well, you know what? This looks better. Yeah, there you go. So somebody is going to win the Funko Pop dual sign for the Young Bucks. Brand new in the box. Somebody's going to get it. All you have to do is just comment on this video, talk about something that, was discussed on the show today, and 2 weeks from today, we'll announce the winner. Also, I got to give a shout out to Marty. Marty sent me a little gift in the mail. I don't have it on right now because I didn't want to just talk all about AEW, but he sent me a really cool AEW shirt. But he also sent me about 15 of these, the temporary stick-on tattoos of Cody, and he dares me to put them all over my face, arms, neck. People were like really trying to get me to do it tonight, but unfortunately, I don't have baby oil to remove it, and all I have is really rubbing alcohol and hand sanitizer, and I really don't want to rub hand sanitizer all over my head and my neck and my face, and then I'm all irritated the next day because I do have an office job. But I promise you in the next couple of weeks, just for, fun for one night, I'll put all the tattoos all over. Look ridiculous. People will say, look at this overgrown goof. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to criticize tattoos. I don't have any, so. But anyway, so that's the prize. The Young Bucks dual sign Funko Pop. So let's talk a little bit about tonight's episode of AEW and NXT. I'm not going to lie to everybody out there. AEW did a very good job with the flow of the show. Everything really flowed well. And how I know it flows well, when I'm constantly taking notes, like I don't even get a breath of fresh air. Soon as this leads, oh, this is over, this happens, and this kid happens, and this runs in, and this one interview, and this is a run-in, and this is a match, and this is the, and then there's 12 people in the ring, and 5 people in the ring, and I'm like, my God, just, could you keep it simple for a few minutes? I gotta take notes and watch both shows. Dave Anthony wants me to toss the tattoos in the trash. Somebody sent it to me as a gift. I looked on Pro Wrestling Tees. They're like 3 for $10. This guy sent me 15 of them. So if you do the math, he spent $50 to basically make. Now I would have just said, just give me the $50 and I'll just do something dumb, but I don't want to just throw them in the trash. I put the one on that time because somebody sent me one. And I was like, I don't think it would work on my neck because I have to shave every day. And, if I shave right before, I don't know if it would stick or not. But, yeah, regifting, yeah. I wonder how people would react if we just gave away the tattoos as one of the prizes. Maybe I'll do that Friday. I'll give away a random tattoo. I have Don Tony tattoos. I have about 500 of them in my office. We would... On Patreon, I used to give these little packs out. Then nobody wanted them. Or everybody got one, and they're like, no, we don't want no more. But, no, I don't want to let the beard grow. I had goatees and, you know, a little bit for a while, but, you know, I don't know. I like being clean shaven, but it does suck to do it every day. So anyway, AEW tonight, they did a really good job with the flow of the show. The problem is the meat and potatoes of it. I had a hard time getting into this show tonight. I don't know what it was. The opening match, you had Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, and Best Friends and Jurassic Express. They defeated Santana, Ortiz, Jericho, Hager, Guevara, the Inner Circle. Yesterday on AEW Dark, they have Big Money Matt. Not even 24 hours later, a different character of Matt. I personally think they should just, when Matt Hardy is on AEW Dark, call him like Big Money Dark Matt or Dark Matt. You know, just something with dark related to it. Because he was a totally different person, yes. And I understand what people say, well, you know, he could be any person, any given time. I did not like the finish of this match. Matt Hardy's music hit, and, you know, you have Guevara in Inner Circle being distracted. AEW has every right to do any finish they want. Any promotion has any right to do any finish they want. But having somebody distracted because Matt, you know, and that's another thing too. Matt Hardy's music is not bad, but it's not like a whole household name. I mean, at least when he was in WWE and you hear, oh yeah, dun, 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 when he used to version 1, you know, when you have some iconic music and you hear it hit, you know, that's when you jump out of your chair, whoever's music it is. When random music hits and you don't have live fans there and you just have wrestlers around ringside, it does not come off all that well on TV at all. I did not like that finish of that match at all. No, I said Dark Matt, not Darth Matt, like I am your father. No, Dark, AEW Dark, let him be Dark Matt. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be called Dark Matt. I don't work in creative. But, I don't know, I just didn't like it. And it makes me feel that we might see Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in 2 weeks, August 12th. This is just feeling I got. Maybe they'll do it next week. I don't think so, because I think they already announced some matches. I wrote it down so fast before, you know, it just, like I said, it really flowed well, but the content was a little less to be decided. The opening match was fun. NXT on their side did the women's tag match to open up, and Io Shirai is quickly showing everyone why so many of us a couple of years ago said, remember the name Io Shirai. She is really adapting to WWE as good as Asuka and some others. Sure, she's not on that level yet as far as a household name, but Io Shirai, they got a diamond, and she shined in today's match. But for entertainment aspects, you kind of feel like when we look at the ratings later this week or next week, it's going to probably be in the direction of AEW's, you know, 10-man clusterfuck. You know, fine. I'm not complaining about it. But the match, I just had a hard time getting into. You know, when you see Orange Cassidy in the ring, and he's doing the thing with the glasses, and, you know, well, sorry, it's Orange Cassidy, so whenever we talk about Orange Cassidy, we have to do this. You know, he's doing this. While he's doing that in the ring, and he's taking his time, I got to run against this. And this is not a dig on Cassidy. I enjoy his character. Again, his character is best served in front of live fans, regular fans, paying fans. But go watch that again. But this time, look at the Inner Circle outside the ring. And look at what they're doing. And I'm sorry. I'm very observant when I watch stuff. I want suspension of disbelief. You know, I mean, when I watch a horror film, I want suspension of disbelief that the dumb bitch that doesn't run away and, you know, just run for help, instead goes in the corner and pees all over herself and then gets hacked to death. I want to have the suspension of disbelief that, you know, whatever happens in a movie was real until I leave and I realize it's just a movie. You know, if I look at the movie and Jason drops the knife, or the girl has a front door, or there's like you can't, when I see mess like that and you look at the inner circle outside the ring while Orange Cassidy's doing what he's doing, I'm like, man, you know, you got to know that there's fucking cameras around there. And, you know, I couldn't get into this match. I could not get into this match. And it feels like the match was overshadowed because they want to set up Guevara versus Matt Hardy. Let's see if it happens in 2 weeks. Let's see if it happens on the next AEW pay-per-view. I kind of think that it's going to happen maybe in 2 weeks. Moxley cutting a pre-tape promo backstage, calling Brian Cage and Ricky Starks punk bitches. And we'll talk about that match in a few. Taz getting on the mic. Oh, we got to talk about Excalibur. Let's talk about it now. I don't have to read anything with this. Okay. Ringside News, more than anybody else, not saying this is a threat, but I will tell you that cancer culture are like zombies. Zombies are looking for meat. And zombies don't care what meat they go for. They'll eat their own. And a lot of these websites, like Ringside News and others, they hide behind fake names. They hide behind no names. They'll just post as a website. And I'm not just trying to single them out, but I notice that they are fucking obsessed with Excalibur. I almost think that they want to go on a date with him. I mean, I saw more posts about Excalibur and the N-word accusations, and the funniest thing about it is the promos. Some of them that Excalibur did, that ironically one of them involved Kevin Owens, who also dropped the N-word. These have been on the net for years and years and years. The first season I did of This Week in Wrestling History, I played a Kevin Owens promo from, I think, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, I think it might have been, where he was very vulgar. And during that episode, I talked about how a lot of these promos were very vulgar. Sometimes it would drop F-bombs, N-bombs. I'm not justifying it or saying it like that, but that's would be cut in promos. What was uncovered with Excalibur, I'm not trying to downplay it or diminish it, but that shit's been out there for years and years and years. And I hate bringing this up, but this is the first thing that came to mind. For a couple of years, Ashley Mazzaro was making the claim that she was sexually violated from, I think, somebody in the military when they did a tribute to the troops. And when it was discussed, I remember doing a DTKC show at the time and pointing out that so many websites ignored the story. Didn't even bother talking about it. Yes, at the time, Ashley Mazzaro was not doing anything in wrestling. They thought it was just an outrageous claim, and they just ignored it. She kills herself. Everybody wants to reopen the case. Find the military person to say that. The point I'm bringing up is that just because you're fucking lazy for years and years and years and nobody paid attention to it back then doesn't make it a bombshell story now. I don't like what Excalibur did in his promos, but if cancer culture is now trying to go to Excalibur, you got a big fucking problem on your hands, because it's going to uncover this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, a lot of your favorites. And when cancer culture starts eating their own, what are you going to do then? Brother! Hulk Hogan was different. Hulk Hogan had a lot of hate and animosity towards black people. And, you know, the stuff that happened with Brooke, you could hear it. You could feel it. Excalibur was not on commentary tonight. It was Taz, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. I have no idea how they're going to handle Excalibur. This is a major problem. Not because Excalibur really said it. This was out there. This was out there for years. Just people, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, who's Excalibur? Who is he? I'm gonna get all passionate about this. What am I gonna get? 2 likes? Now he's a commentator. Oh, bombshell. This story, they didn't want to pay attention at the time because it would have got them no views whatsoever. But Tony Khan is now in a bad situation. Brother! A lot of people PM me insisting that some promotions watch these shows. Don't like all the vulgar language, and I'm trying to cut it down. And, you know, I've said some things over the years I regret. I mature, I learn. Nothing, you know, like that. But my point is, Tony Khan and AEW made an unforced error. I don't care if it was in the heart. Made a major unforced error talking about Linda Bolea and Hulk Hogan a couple of months ago. That they're not wanted in AEW. You know, if I have a party and I don't invite certain people, some people may be like, oh, maybe I was invited and the invite got lost in the mail. You know, we're in the middle of COVID right now, so maybe I didn't get an invite. So maybe he really invited me, but I can't go to the party because what if he didn't invite me? So I'll just say, hey, you know, how come you didn't go to the party? Well, I didn't get my invite in the mail. Well, guess what? I have my engagement party next year, and you don't get an invite. And I have a WrestleMania get-together party, and you don't get an invite. And I have a barbecue, and you don't get an invite, I don't have to go on Twitter and say, blah, 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 is not welcomed. You get the goddamn message. Now, brother, by saying Hulk Hogan is not wanted in AEW, now every fucking wrestler that has ever said anything of controversy, even in a wrestling promo, you got cancer culture, all looking for fresh meat. Excalibur is the new victim. And what's going to happen is now Tony Khan, brother, because Hogan said the N-word, now Excalibur said the N-word. Oh, look, Mike Tyson, we brought in Mike Tyson. Oh, how could you have Mike Tyson in the company? He raped a woman, this, that. You can't fucking take these social views and this and that because you might get a nice base of your AEW audience. Oh, Tony, you know, that was so commendable of you. You know, we don't want any racist in AEW. The hell with Hulk Hogan. Why we want? You just don't send them an invite. Ever. So now what happens when someone you like gets revealed? That's what's happening. And Ringside News and a lot of these places, they're not reporting news. They're sensationalizing this. They're seeing that a lot of people are not covering the Excalibur stuff because it was out there already. And you know what they're doing? They're writing post after post after post, tweet after tweet after tweet, because it's almost like the Velveteen Dream, the original accusations. When the original people, you know, didn't get the exposure, the attention that they thought they would get, then they had to bring it to the next level. Yup. Yeah, we're at the court right now. Yup. We called the police. Yup, my balls. I was the only podcaster on the net. I think JD from New York was the only other person that said from the beginning that these people making these original accusations, so it's Velveteen Dream, doesn't make sense. And we made the reasons why everybody thought we were nuts. So this Ringside News, especially them, they better make sure that all of their writers, all of their favorites have no skeletons in their closet. I don't give a shit about any of them. They could all fall off the face of the earth tomorrow. It doesn't faze me at all. I laugh at all of the people out there that follow them. But I'll say this, Ringside News. One day, the cancer culture zombies may go after you. What are you going to after me for? I'm a nobody. I'm not a wrestler. Oh. Better hope you don't have any friends over the years. Better hope you got no skeletons in your closet. Because sooner or later, cancer culture, if you're desperate if zombies desperate for food so bad, they'll bite into their own arm. Everyone out there, obviously AEW now has to do something about Excalibur. I don't know what you do. But I know a lot of this could have been handled differently, brother, if they would have ignored Linda Hogan, ignored Hulk Hogan. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. We know Tony Khan is genuinely a good person. We know that everybody working in AEW and NXT and other places are really out to help and make things better. You don't have to tweet, to show that you're a good person. How many of you out there know people online that will tweet all these superhero stories about themselves? There's no fucking proof anyway. There's fucking camera phones. You could buy a camera phone for $10. There's never video, any footage whatsoever. I got fucking a Q-tip shoved in my nose for the 4th time this morning. I got COVID tested today. I actually posted about 10 seconds of it. I put the phone up and then they're like, they're banging on my window. No recording. Not allowed to record a COVID test. But you got people out there that will write these superhero stories about themselves. And if you look at it, the Forrest Gump stories, there's never any witnesses. There's never any proof. There's no pictures, no video, nobody corroborating it. All the victims never seem to have social media either. You're a good person. You live it every single day. You don't need to tweet about it. You don't need to write stories about it. You don't need to chime in and talk about other people's negative. Just do the right thing. Do your own thing. Do a good thing. Because nobody is perfect in this world. I guarantee you, every single person tuning in right now, including me, have said some really disgusting words over the years. We've all done that. But you learn from your mistakes. You learn, you get educated, you understand when you make mistakes. You don't need to tweet that you're a good person. Just do it. Don't have to say it, do it. And Tony Khan and all of them got to stop chiming in on other people's bad actions, because now it's hitting their own. And now, oh my God, look what we said about Hogan. If we ignore this, we look like hypocrites. We can't have that. Is this what school do you go to? Let's see. Anyway, let's move on. But before we do, let me see what this gentleman has to say. I don't speak Japan, so I have no idea what that is. I think that might be what school you go to. Cameron Grimes in the Dark Order being on at the same time was bad. Can't bring himself to care for either. Took a big number 2. Yeah, I say that about 5 from the Dark Order. When 5 is on from the Dark Order, I take a number 2 for 3 when 5 is on. When 5 is on, I take a number 2 for 3. I take a shit for 3 minutes. So, and by the way, Anthony Diaz says he wishes Beaner was used more often in promos. Beaner? Okay. Look, I don't care what somebody says in a promo. I don't know. I just, like I said, I understand why people get offended at stuff, but if you're just digging for stuff from yesteryear, there is probably 100 people that have said some shit in a wrestling promo or something over the years that comes off the wrong way. You want to keep doing this cancer culture stuff, be very wary of your own backyard. Just because you don't have a blue check mark and just because you're not popular doesn't mean that you're immune to it. And you fucking hide behind these social media accounts with just a website name or something. I'm telling you, these people are just looking for attention and hits. Fuck them. Seriously. I might have to set up a social media account, like portraying myself as like this major slut, and contact all of them and say, hey, I really love your views and I love how you're exposing all of these people. I want to send you nudes, Where should I send it to and fucking dox all their information online? I would never do that. You know, it's fantasy. But I hate these motherfuckers. If you can't post your real name, you can't post a current picture of yourself, and you can't show some transparency about yourself, you have no goddamn right to anonymously start trying to ruin other people's lives. Fuck you. Fuck you. What Excalibur said is wrong. But for people to make it sound like, oh, look at all this stuff uncovered, that shit was floating around for years. You just ignored it because it would have got you no views whatsoever. That's what I have to say about it. Fuck you. And all these, and you know what's funny too? These podcasters and websites that all say the same thing about these websites, yet when you go on their follower page, they follow these people because that's their news source. Terrible. Now, was Cody versus Warhorse terrible? I don't know if it was. It was not a bad match. I was very happy for the guy. You know, I sifted through all the people. Who's Warhorse? Who's Warhorse? You know, their zone is strictly just, you know, what wrestlers can get me tweet fucked. What's Warhorse? Who's Warhorse? I was very happy for the guy. Match went longer than I expected, but Warhorse is not a bad talent. Again, you could see the formula for the Cody matches now. And I until I see the All Elite, you know, Matt Cardona is All Elite, we don't know if he's under contract. As of right now, since I haven't seen that yet, and maybe somebody has by now, because I'm doing this live immediately after the show started, right now the formula might be Cody teams with Matt Cardona next week. They have a little bit of a faux pas during the match. That leads to Matt Cardona versus Cody 2 weeks from now on August 12th. That's what it feels like for me. There was no doubt Cody was winning this match today, and it was fun. Wars, he's an indie guy. I hope he's not on social media too much tonight, because the usual rejects will just say, oh, Ultimate Warrior ripoff. You know, you'll get 17 people that'll, oh yeah, he's Ultimate Warrior ripoff. Look at him, he looks like Simon Dean fucked the Ultimate Warrior. You know, I'm happy for that guy. And I'm happy that AEW gave him an opportunity, because guess what? I know we're not in the 90s anymore, and I know we're not in the 2000s anymore. But I do remember many times of WCW Saturday Night Thunder, Sunday Night Heat, Velocity, where wrestlers did wrestle. I mean, you know, it's funny that these people that make fun of indie guys coming in and getting matches will be the first ones to the right. Look, Johnny Gargano wrestled on Sunday Night Heat 9 years ago. Look at him. Look at him. It's the same shit. Somebody gets an opportunity to wrestle for a one-shot deal or 2 matches. What's wrong with that? I have nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The match, I think, was as good as what we thought it would be. It wasn't going to be anything knocking it out of the park. But we then had Alex Reynolds and John Silver, the Dark Order, attack Warhorse and Cody. I don't know, it just kind of like made no sense to me. And then next thing you know, Matt Cardona, you know, former Zack Ryder, hits the ring, clears the ring. So that's the match next week. Cardona looks great. Looks like he put about 15 to 20 pounds of muscle on his body. You know, look, I have already discussed, you know, the night when I got blocked from Zack Ryder. Just to show you how long this has been. Zack Ryder had that storyline with Kane, with John Cena and all that. Remember when I think it was with Eve Torres? Was it Eve Torres? And I said, this is the pinnacle of his career, his WWE. It's a pinnacle. You know, even when he won that IC title for a cup of coffee that was totally unexpected, it really didn't matter. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but it felt like that everything that happened, you know, that was the pinnacle. And a lot of, you know, I still stick to that now. The problem is, yes, Kane was involved also. Kane pushed it. I gave Zack Ryder credit that time for keeping the cast on, because Zack Ryder made appearances outside of wrestling and he kept the cast on. I love that. I love that. Yes, we know wrestling is sports entertainment, predetermined, and it's scripted. But I love when wrestlers invest in their character enough. Moxley wearing the patch is one of the most recent examples of it. Moxley did not have to wear that patch. Now, if we would have found out, oh, he had laser eye surgery, and that's why he was wearing the patch. All right, still, he cared enough. The motherfucker went to Japan and kept the patch on. So there's no such thing as, oh, well, the cat's out of the bag, so what's the sense? But the problem is Zack Ryder is still Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona, just because he's got a pair of jeans on, black jeans, and just because he is a little bit more jacked, you don't have live fans there. You know, so right now, I don't know what this amounts to. You know, it's not like Zack Ryder was knocking down the doors, you know, and I don't know how he reinvents himself. He came out today wearing jeans because obviously it's supposed to be like an outsider coming in and blah, 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 blah. I'm not drinking haterade, Jody. All I'm saying is, I don't know where this goes. You see EC3 totally reinvented his character. You see some other wrestlers, look at Su Yung. I mean, my God, they did the Wrestle House, and I was looking at people's comments online, and I think so many keyboards were sticky, you know, because they changed her look, and people now only seeing her for the first time, you know, with this look, even though she's had it for a while. But my point is that, you know, people reinvent their characters, and it works. I don't know if Matt Cardona, what does he reinvent himself to? A muscled up jack guy? You know, EC3's got this crazy attitude about himself, and his mic skills have dramatically improved. So I got to see. I am not criticizing Matt Cardona at all right now. I just say to myself, you know, the only thing that I think I'm looking forward to more than anything is it, because remember, he did the Z True Hollywood shit or whatever on the internet. If he does some stuff with being the elite, that's going to be some funny ass shit. I don't know if anybody thought about that. He doesn't even really have to be under contract to do that. But the thing is that if you take away Zack Ryder, you take away you take away all that stuff, and now you just got jacked up Matt Cardona, is that enough to reinvent yourself? I don't know. Let's see what happens. So again, please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. I am not knocking him at all. I just don't know, you know, where it redevelops. So anyway, their next pay-per-view is September 5th. April 12th, like I said, I think is the next date. That's the, you know, the big time that AEW is really going to step it up, and I think NXT does as well. But Guevara, Inner Circle come out after their loss. Jericho challenges Orange Cassidy to a debate next week. Next week is Super Wednesday. A guest will host a debate. Don't know who it's going to be yet. I have to think about this a little bit. Maybe I'll have an idea by Friday who I think it could be. It should be somebody on the outside making an appearance. I just got to think a little bit who's out there that would be an entertaining get. You know, it's a little charismatic as well. But yes, I agree with you, Mystery Man. Matt Cardona was relevant in 2012. So what does he do now to make him higher than what Zack Ryder was in 2020? Just being on TV is not enough. It's not enough. And that's why I'm a little concerned about Heath Miller in Impact. They brought him in, and right away they're doing comedy stuff that he can't get into the building. You know, so that kind of concerns me a little bit as well. Because you could see where, you know, when somebody comes in, and pun intended, they make an impact, you could feel where people made an impact on the level. Gallows and Anderson, Eric Young, EC3, Brian Myers, Heath Miller. You know, you see what I mean? Deonna Purrazzo. You know, that's why I'm a little concerned about Heath Miller. So we'll see what happens. Look, I go in with open eyes. I'm not going to criticize AEW for signing him, and I'm really curious why they signed Cameron Ariane. They're there's enough women out there that her needing that spot, I don't know. Let's see. So anyway, Jericho's wearing a jacket. They got the orange juice all over it. He asks Santana, if the jacket smells, and it smells like orange juice, and Santana says it smells like cat pee and more like orange juice, and Jericho's like, ah! And he storms off. Whatever. The debate next week, I don't know, man. Orange Cassidy, like I said, I'm a fan of his. I just prefer to utilize him a little bit differently. This is going to lead to something else. I don't know. I don't know what it is. FTR, they showed footage of their contract signing. Arn Anderson is there. Basically, looked over the contract for them. Kind of teased that he might be, doing an alliance with FTR. I know a lot of people out there, think of the Brainbusters when they think of FTR, which is why they're doing that. Hangman Page enters the room, a little bit of whiskey, and, just basically celebrating. And FTR they claim they asked Tony Khan to make August 12th Tag Team Appreciation Night and them being the hosts. Again, August 12th. Telling you, August 12th. Mark that on your calendar. 2 weeks from now. Next week is going to be the lead for the week after. The week after is the big week. The next big week. So now we have Hangman. Who was his partner again? Not Stu Grayson, the other guy. I mean, he's talented, but they're like making him look like he's this major superstar, and I don't see much about him at all. Wolf Blitzer is the moderator? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Oh, no. Absolutely not, man. I said Evil Uno. Who did Uno team with tonight? Keep forgetting his fucking name. Alex Reynolds. Thank you. Alex Reynolds. Yeah, that's a household name. Give them praise. Dark Order. They're not bad in the ring, but the whole storyline has been all over the place. The Colt Cabana stuff is still just like bad gas, man. It's like stomach cramps, It's just all over the place. But anyway, you had 2 undefeated teams in 2020. Something had to give. Page and Omega are not losing those belts this soon. So they retain. After the match is over, Brody Lee is pissed off. Then next thing you know, you got Brody Lee, the Dark Order. They're surrounding Page and Omega, and here come the Bucks. Like I say, every fucking week they got to get involved with someone else's segment. They enter the ring. Then FTR enters the ring. There's a gigantic brawl. The Dark Order are chased away. Then next week, we have this gigantic match. I think it's Page and Omega, Young Bucks, FTR, Dark Order. It's, again, every week seems like AEW now features a clusterfuck. Clusterfuck month. But if that's what people want to watch, nothing wrong with that. I've been saying for the last couple of weeks now, and I brought this up on Breakfast Soup originally, AEW sometimes treats their shows like an indie event. You see 2 teams together, they have a crazy-ass match, but if it's entertaining and there's not much storyline behind it, you still go home happy. So that's the formula. They're not overthinking some of the storylines. Probably, maybe the biggest storyline after all of this might be MJF versus Moxley, which I think a lot of people want to see. I know I'm going a little out of place right now, but MJF comes out, gives a state of AEW address, and just like people saying with Donald Trump, not my president, MJF says Moxley, hashtag not my champion. And he called out Moxley. So they're starting to plant the seeds of MJF versus Jon Moxley for the championship. Very intrigued right now to see where that goes. MJF is awesome on the mic. AEW gives him a lot more leash. He says some really controversial things at times as well. So, MJF, he really, I don't know if you would say cut a pipe bomb, but he basically was talking about how, Mox wanted to change and this and that, and he talks about Moxley's reign in AEW. This was all designed for MJF to challenge Moxley. I like it. I want to see where it goes from here. Now, next week, they have Darby Allin versus Mox going down. Now, that's going to end with some clusterfuck. And, when you have, and this goes back to what I say, I don't like when you start teasing major title matches and then you have other matches before then on regular TV because you know what the outcome is. There's going to be no title change. You just want to see how it ends. I like MJF's theme as well. MJF is quickly becoming my favorite AEW star, to be honest with you. It's funny when you look back 6 months ago, and I used to say Ortiz was my favorite AEW star. Even though I don't understand why they're not giving a little bit more time to Abaddon on the main roster. And I'm surprised how many people online don't like Abaddon. They actually think that it's too cartoony. You'll see that repeatedly written by a lot of people online. Then once they see what Abaddon looks like without makeup, then all of a sudden, I like Abaddon. What did Ellsworth say that time? Anybody with two hands has a chance. Anybody with two nice tits, some people online, they'll get fucking eyes will be on them no matter what. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have people bring to me examples all the time. Like some people, I think the thing that annoys me the most about social media is when I ask someone a question sometimes and I get responded with a like. I ask someone a question and their response is to like my tweet. And then you realize they're not even looking at your fucking question. They're just going down the list and just liking everything because they got attention. Like. Oh, they got attention. Like. But they're not answering quite. But yet, if I have a nice rack, and I'm the opposite sex, if that's the way you go, I get a response in 9 seconds. I like Abaddon. I don't care if she's, looks great or she looks like that in real life. I mean, I like her character. Very interesting. A lot of mystique and aura. You will not see her doing a YouTube channel like Aleister Black, going out and buying coffee and muffins. And hey, look, they got this new bath soap on sale at Bed Bath & Beyond. You're not going to see her doing that. That's someone who's keeping the mystique about herself. Maybe sacrificing some bucks in the process, but I'm a fan of Abaddon. Ray Durazo saying to me, Abaddon or Su Yung? Honestly, Abaddon. Su Yung is not bad. She's uber talented. She's still very, very young. She's married to Rich Swann, if I'm correct. No, Darren, I didn't steal your lines. I said that Monday, that after they did that with his eye, they're going to show him on YouTube with his girl going to a store and buying bath salts and eye drops, and his eye's going to be fine. Do I like MJF more than Jericho? Ken, it's different. It's different. Jericho, he's entertained me for so many years. I mean, I go back and I still have my WCW shirt, the Jericho-holics. I mean, Jericho, I have such a loyalty to it, an appreciation. It's like a fine wine. Jericho is like having a really nice bottle of fine wine. And you drank about 80% of it. And the wine is still good, but you realize you don't have much left. So you savor whatever little bit that you have left. That's how I look at Chris Jericho. MJF, there's so much potential. Jericho, I have so much satisfaction and gratitude. So I don't compare Jericho to MJF. Hopefully that made sense. And you're very welcome, Ken. You didn't have to do that with the super chat, but I thank you very much. Jericho is one of my favorite performers. Absolutely. No question. And I know what Jericho's role is right now. And if people can't figure out that Jericho and Matt Hardy and some others are trying to help elevate and mentor some of the young stars that still are very, ignorant to the sausage making. They're very critical for this company. And NXT, you got Triple H and you got Shawn Michaels, and you got Mercedes Martinez helping the women. Mercedes Martinez, just dominating Shotzi Blackheart today, which should have went no other way. And it's nice to see Mercedes Martinez. I went to an indie show, and the video where I was sitting in the empty arena with Casey Blade of the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. You might have seen the video on Twitter where he's wearing the mask. That was the night I took pictures with Tito Santana. Mercedes Martinez was on that card. How many years ago is that? 14? 15? Mercedes Martinez has been around a very, very long time. And, she appeared. I think she was in that Battle Royal, James. The casino. Wasn't it the Casino Royale? And I know what some people will say. Wow, AEW. You don't sign Deonna Purrazzo. You don't sign Kylie Ray. You don't sign Mercedes Martinez. But you sign Ariane. I don't look at it like that, because her role in AEW might be to fill a spot to lose matches. Right now, you see kind of like who AEW wants to elevate and push. Right now, it feels like Hikaru Shida and everybody else. I don't think they would bring in a Deonna Purrazzo and then push her to the moon immediately. They want AEW homegrown talent. More than anything, you need the balance with mainstream names as well. But there's a reason why. MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, you could look at some members, Best Friends, Orange Cassidy. Sure, they wrestled in other promotions. We saw them perform for years before AEW. But when you look at those guys, they feel like up-and-coming stars of tomorrow for AEW. They don't look like former Impact, former this. And if somebody is from a former promotion that was kept under the radar, this is AEW trying to develop. You have to have a balance. That's why I don't criticize any promotion from hiring someone that WWE used to employ. From Brody Lee down to Ariane. Let's see how they're utilized. But let's also say that Cheetah and Diamante today did not have a very good match. Not at all. It was very forgettable. Now, I guess we could talk about this as well. They're doing the cup, and for the tag team tournament cup, it is going to be YouTube only. And these are the deadly draw rules. The tournament is a random draw. All competitors draw a color. There'll be two colors. It'll be two cards of the same color. And the two matching colors form a tag team. And the selections of final cannot be appealed, blah, 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 blah. So they did a segment today. I think they said that Nyla Rose pulled the purple card. By the way, random stuff nobody cares about. My favorite color of all time is purple. Nyla Rose draws purple. And Ariane shows up and says, hey, I drew purple too. Managed by Vickie Guerrero. And that's what you got. Plain and simple. But it is going to be aired just on YouTube. Fine. I'm fine with that. I thought it would be cool for maybe AEW to have like a one-night special on TNT on another night and just feature the tournament. But I think the reason why they're doing it on YouTube is because they have to spread it out for numerous weeks. They're not going to all air it, I think, on one night. I doubt they'll do it on one night. It makes no sense to do it on one night. So now next week, you have, I think, two members of the Dark Order versus Matt Cardona and Cody. FTR, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the other members of the Dark Order. You have the debate with Orange Cassidy and Jericho. And then the main event tonight, you had Darby Allin and Moxley defeat Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. It was a tornado rules match. Pretty much anything goes. Again, a lot of matches in AEW have little to no rules. You know, it is what it is. But if fans tune in and just enjoying themselves, like I said, it's almost like going to an indie show. You go home happy, you got your money's worth. But, you know, the buzz about this was the end. You had Darby Allin with the skateboard and had thumbtacks and put Ricky Starks, got slammed onto the thumbtacks. Ricky Starks, when he rolled around, some of those thumbtacks kind of like ripped his skin a little bit further. Last week I showed you what my back looked like with the thumbtacks. But one thing you got to be careful about is how you move after. And he moved, and you could see that some of those thumbtacks were really ripping his skin open pretty good. And he was bleeding pretty hard from not that many thumbtacks. But it was a nice-looking spot. Ricky Starks, man, I've been singing the praise for Ricky Starks for a while now. Anybody that's a regular listener or viewer of the show knows that. A lot of people out there, they didn't even follow him in NWA. And it really got me mad because there was some people who claimed to watch NWA every single week. When Ricky Starks debuted in AEW, they had no idea of what this guy did. Look at him. What does he do? He's so small. And you realize they didn't even watch NWA. Ricky Starks cuts an awesome fucking promo as well. So having Ricky Starks on the mic backstage with Brian Cage. Brian Cage could talk. We know that. But Ricky Starks, you know, he has a different style to himself, and he's very smooth. Main event was fun. You know, it kind of sucks when you look at the clock and there's only a minute left for the show, so you know they got to cut to the finish quickly. But right after the match is over, you know, it's just a little weird to see Brian Cage and Ricky Starks going to the back. And it's like, you know, and then the focus is on next week. It's Darby Allin versus Mox. And you know, this is still leading to Mox versus MJF. So it's almost like, okay, more of how's the match going to end than how's the match going to be. So NXT side, Io Shirai and Tegan Nox beating Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae. As I said earlier tonight, Io Shirai is in a league of her own right now. Really, really turning it up. I wouldn't rush her to the main roster, but you could tell SmackDown and Raw really are in need to mix it up a little bit. I did see that Ember Moon said that there's too many women sitting at home to have the belts tied up the way they are. I don't think Bayley and Sasha could have all the belts all that long, but you feel like one or two people may need to be graduated to the main roster. And I don't mean Chelsea Green, nothing against her. I don't think that's the type, you know what I mean? Like, you want someone really more of a solid career in ring on that main roster, but also as a character as well. But I really enjoyed the women's tag match. But again, you know, nothing against Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae or even Tegan Nox. They don't really get my sole attention. You know what I mean? And you got the Inner Circle and Best Friends and, you know, Jurassic Express on the opposite side, you know, because that's more of a clusterfuck. You kind of drift to that. But it was a decent match. You know, I don't know what this means after, but after the match was over, we had a promo later on where Dakota Kai said that she's done being a team player. I don't know if they're splitting her from Raquel Gonzalez. Maybe they bring her to the main roster. I have no idea. But, you know, we also have to see what happens with Candice LeRae. As far as I'm concerned, Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano have been a little bit of a disappointment simply because they're not doing it in front of live fans. Their character change is really needed with a live crowd, really getting under their skin. And, you know, you have the NXT wrestlers taunting some of the people. I even heard one of them say earlier, like, Scarlett, you suck. That's not enough, man. That's not enough. You need, when wrestlers are getting real heat, you need the fans to go, I know it's played out, but you need the fan. What? You need legitimate trolling. When you feel a legitimate troll coming at you, your reaction, it challenges you more. When you have your friends around ringside and they're just making it up to try to enhance your character, there's nothing challenging you. And Gargano and LaRoux has been a disappointment, not for any fault of their own. Even Gargano defeating Roderick Strong today. It was an excellent match. It ended quicker than I expected it to. But again, I don't know if that match would have kept people's attention. I like this change in direction for the Undisputed Era. I want to see them not necessarily as clear-cut baby faces, but it gives them a whole crop of new people to face. Gargano and Roderick Strong, you know, that's like a main event on an indie card, a good paying indie card, pretty much anywhere. In the middle of NXT, though, you could see that WWE is not really invested to keep that going. So I want to see what the Undisputed Era, I want to see where they go in that direction, but it kind of felt like possibly a face turn for that group. And I don't want to see Pat McAfee. No. Now, I do know we're at the 11:57 mark. This show ends at 12:05 sharp. We're not having those disasters anymore with parts of the show not being seen, you know. But the great thing about it is Friday, I do the Don Tony show. So Friday, I could talk a little bit more about some of the things we didn't get into today. I definitely want to hype a little bit more the Talk-A-Mania, Shop-A-Mania for Saturday. So Friday we'll get into other things as well. So we'll spend the rest of the time talking a little. Johnny Z, I didn't spend too much time talking about AEW. I talked a lot about NXT tonight as well. I just do it in different spurts. I don't save it all for the end. And with all due respect, Mercedes Martinez and Shotzi Blackheart was only a couple of minutes at most. I already talked about that. Keith Lee and Karrion Kross having a confrontation. Keith Lee is pissed off. You know, he's talking about Karrion Kross doing so much extra bullshit. Then you got Cameron Grimes come out. You know how I feel about Cameron Grimes. It's like, you know, you're about to have hot sex with your significant other and then the telephone rings. That's what Cameron Grimes was for this segment. Keith Lee powerbombs him. I don't really care about that. Drop him on his head. You want to entertain me. And I don't want to see him physically injured. But I don't know where this goes right now. Now, William Regal basically making an announcement that there is no announcement, that he's not going to be pressured into doing a match. I got a little kick, because I'm very observant. I got a little kick of William Regal doing that announcement in front of the grandfather clock. Did you notice it was 9:25 p.m. Eastern? The grandfather clock's at 9:25, but the batteries were taken out. The thing wasn't moving. The seconds thing wasn't moving. So they knew exactly where they were going to stream this because, you know, NXT's pre-recorded. But I did enjoy Regal, that little touch of making the clock 9:25 as well. I got a kick out of that. But Karrion Kross issuing the challenge to Keith Lee. You know, you easy way or the hard way. And Karrion Kross wants the NXT championship. Scarlett is on the rampway in a red evening gown. And she's got this sinister look on her face. And Keith Lee says, pick the time, pick the place, and I will whoop that ass. And then Scarlett just simply walks off. So they will be fighting for the title. As of right now, I don't think Karrion Kross gets the title. I think we might have like a DQ finish or something. That's my original reaction to it. The big question is, does it happen in 2 weeks, August 12th, or does it happen on NXT TakeOver? I would prefer to see it happen on NXT TakeOver. No reason to rush that. Imperium squashing Everrise. We talked last week about Everrise. You know, they need to change their look a little bit. After the match was over, the Undisputed Era come out and they beat the balls off of Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel. And it looks like Undisputed Era might be baby faces now. Bronson Reed's package, I have a lot of, respect for Bronson Reed. He's good, but he hasn't connected with me yet. I don't think he should be North American champion anytime soon. They did 2 segments throughout the night. Timothy Thatcher cutting his promo about the 3-way. That's going to happen later. Balor cutting his promo. And both times you had Dexter Lumis looming in the background. Balor and Thatcher did not know that he was in the background. They announced Damian Priest versus Oney Lorcan versus Ridge Holland, who is making his NXT debut. I think he's from NXT UK, so I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about Ridge Holland, so I'm going to do a little bit of research. Maybe I'll give you some stuff on Friday so you know before next Wednesday. Isaiah Swerve Scott beating Jake Atlas in an excellent match that I personally think you take a couple of minutes off of that match, you give it a little bit more to Gargano and Roderick Strong. Jake Atlas feels like they haven't done much with since the Cruiserweight tournament for the title. One fall. I definitely heard of him before from NXT UK, but I haven't really watched him closely, so I'm going to check him out in the next 48 hours, and I'll mention him on Friday a little bit. And then we had the main event. Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher losing to Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis moves on to the North American Championship ladder match at TakeOver. A fun match. Everybody working hard. I actually enjoyed that match more than I enjoyed Darby Allin and Moxley versus Cage and Starks. AEW is smart, man. They did the tornado rules, so anything could fucking happen. They could use any weapons they want. NXT sometimes is a little too organized, but I enjoyed the match nonetheless. And I'm still, as I opened up with the show, very surprised that Dexter Lumis advance. I have a feeling we're going to see Balor versus Thatcher either at TakeOver or August 12th. Mark that down. Balor versus Thatcher, I think, is going to be a match in the making. So, with that said, before we go, ratings. We've been pretty close lately. I think AEW dominates once again. I think NXT rebounds a little bit, but I think AEW this week does 868. NXT, I say, does 868. Because only, I would say, between 1.4 and 1.5 million fans are going to tune in. I don't see Wednesday being that much more than Raw's Hour 3. So I'll say AEW did 868. NXT did 637. No, I'll go a little higher. I'll say 667. I think wrestling, even though Hour 1 was I had a hard time getting into, but I'll go with that. We'll see what happens. Friday, I'll get into the quarter-hour ratings. I'll get into everything that we ran out of time for tonight. So I bid you farewell. And everyone, before you go, if you enjoyed the show, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. Want to get to 15,000? Maybe I'll wear all the tattoos when we do 15,000. I don't know. But don't forget, just post a comment. I'm not going to keep mentioning it because all of you that were loyal, that tuned in for most of the show, where during the show the contest was posted. So you know about the contest. So, I want to see the people who post the comments, someone who really enjoys the show, get the prize. I don't want somebody to swoop in there, just post a comment that didn't even check out the show. But hey, whoever wins, wins. I can't control that. So that's it. So join me Friday, 10:05 p.m. right here. We'll do the Don Tony show. We'll get into SmackDown, and we'll talk a ton of other stuff. And I hope you could join me, this weekend. We're definitely going to do gaming night Saturday night on Discord. It's free. And you could be shy. You could be in the audience. We'll have a hell of a lot of fun. And maybe we'll do the watch along with, with Talk Shop-A-Mania. So I'll definitely get into that Friday again. Please post your comments. Please give a thumbs up. Much love. Wow. Got a lot of things to talk about Friday. Take care, everybody. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
Don-O-Mite.
It was fun to channel surf. It was kind of hard to do a little pocket pool after you hitting the last channel button 50 times for 2 hours plus.
Don-O-Mite.
And his whole idea of overanalyzing, oh, he's an alcoholic and he misplaced the belt. And how could you have someone champion like that? The fuck out of here.
Wednesday night.
Don-O-Mite, you can have fun. You really are.